Hey, aloha, and welcome everyone. Very happy to be reconnecting with you this week. This is a very special series, one that's near and dear to my heart. I have been working with people and relationships for at least 15 years now, if not longer. And a great deal of what I have shared with people stems from my own experience. And then when I started training with Dr. and Master Sha, and he started bringing the wisdom of the soul and how every soul has a relationship, excuse me, uh, every relationship has a soul, everyone and everything has a soul, it really cracked open my mind as to the possibilities. And I started applying a lot of what he said. And so in today's episode, which is episode number 2, series number 4 on relationships, we are going to explore that every soul has a relationship. And one of the beautiful things about this understanding is that when you really grasp that every soul has a relationship and every relationship has a soul, then you can transform pretty much every relationship in your life. So let's talk about that a moment. In all of the previous podcasts in this series, I have brought in the terminology of Tao healing, how Tao healing works. I go into details about the Shen, Qi, and Jing, and how our thoughts, our words, and our actions impact our life. How our thoughts, our words, and our actions literally create a boomerang effect by offering positive thoughts, words, and actions that then creates a positive frequency and vibration in our field, which of course helps us to assist in the manifestation of all that we desire. And the opposite occurs when we offer negative thoughts, words, or actions. I have shown you how to apply that in your physical body, in your emotional body, and then the last series in the mental body. As we move into relationships, the ideology is the same, but the approach and the understanding needs more girth. It needs more depth of understanding for people to really appreciate the way in which Tao healing can positively affect your relationships. So we're going to start by doing more explanation about a soul, so that when I say the words, a relationship has a soul, you'll actually understand it. So, what is a soul? Well, a soul, according to my teacher's definition, is a golden light being. And one of the one sentence secrets that is shared in all of his books, and I personally completely concur, you may choose to accept it as true or not, but one of the one sentence secrets that is shared is that everyone and everything has a soul. Everyone, we all agree with. Everything, okay, that could bring up some question marks. And the higher consciousness of this is that all energy and all matter originates from Source Creator. All energy and all matter carries within it Source, even before that energy and matter has formed something physical. Source still exists within every thought, within every speck of energy and every speck of matter, whether it is something we recognize with our five senses or not. And another way of saying that is that everything has a soul. So if you can grasp and agree that everything, every thought, every word, every action, every piece of physical material, every speck of energy and matter, your cell phone, your chair, everything has source within it, then it's not that big of a leap to also say everything has spirit of source in it. And you go one step further, everything has a soul. It's just our perceptions and comprehensions of what a soul is. It's all really semantics. Everything has source, everything has a soul. That includes thoughts, And most importantly, in this conversation today, that includes relationships. A relationship has a soul, and this soul is separate from you and the person that you have the relationship with. This is a very important understanding. When I think back to literally about 15 years ago in my very, very first training with Dr. and Master Sha, I heard him say this, that everything has a soul. And he wanted to explain what I basically just said to you. And my mind just went, I mean, just, it was such a big aha moment for me. My mind just went, and so I wanted to really apply that in my life. And I did. I said, well, if everything has a soul, and the wisdom that Master Sha says that every soul wants to serve, this is very important to grasp, every soul wants to serve, then my sore knee has a soul and it wants to serve me. Well, how is it serving me? By pain. My relationship has a soul, but it's not a very pleasant relationship. How is this serving me? Right? So we need to open our consciousness around this so we can grasp that souls are not limited to just humans. And if we can further grasp that the purpose of every soul is to serve us, then we can really transform any part of our life in an extraordinary way. When I started applying this to my life 15 years ago, I did it in ways that other people might not think about. I started saying, well, a thought has a soul. How is this thought, this negative thought, trying to serve me? Something didn't work out with a career choice or a career choice I wanted, some direction I wanted to go in. That has a soul. Possibilities have a soul, according to this wisdom, right? And so this causes the brain to go, wow, this is, I don't know if I can accept this. I get it. It could be unique and different to understand. But I tried it. I tried it 15 years ago. I can tell you from personal experience, it is beyond powerful when you recognize this and start working with it. Now, I started applying it to relationships. And I started realizing that I wasn't having very good relationships way back then. In the romantic department, I wasn't having any at all. And so, does my soulmate have a soul? Is there a relationship between me and that unfound soulmate? The answer is actually yes. There is a relationship soul between you and your child or parent. A relationship soul, not you, not them, a soul in between. This is important to understand. There is a relationship soul between you and your current spouse or partner. There is a relationship soul between you and past spouses or partners. There is a relationship soul between you and your best friends and you and your enemies. Again, open your mind. Why did that person that you might not get along so well with, that you have great irritation towards, why did you come together? Why did that irritation occur? Why did the relationship that you thought was going to last forever go bad? Why is the relationship you're currently in struggling or doing really well? The answer lies in the relationship soul between you. Now, if you're new to this podcast, you may hear for the first time that I work with an understanding that we live more than once. You can suspend any beliefs around that if it doesn't resonate with you. But for now, try to work with it if it's not something that you're familiar with. Under the understanding that everyone and everything has a soul, and that every soul is part of the source, then all souls live forever. That means you and I are quite temporary. We're here for between 0 and 100 years approximately, and then we start again. Our soul, however, has a great deal of memories. It has a great deal of experiences because it has done this many times before. And it has done the relationship that you are in with your partner, your spouse, it's done that relationship before. It's highly likely. Same thing with children, parents. You have been in relationships with them before. Therefore, there is a memory bank of those experiences captured in the form of a relationship soul. Your relationship soul exists between you. It is what attracted you to that person. It is what caused that person to be your parent or your child. It is what caused that enemy that you did not know an enemy when they entered your life to become one. It is what's caused the wonderful blessings in your life and relationships and the very challenging ones. That relationship soul is a magnet. It attracts to you what you as an individual, as a soul, what you need to become whole. The relationship souls are your greatest servant. Relationship souls are your greatest form of achieving enlightenment. Because if you can be around a person, whether it's a boss or a coworker or a partner, whatever that relationship is, and if they create great strife or challenges in your life, and you are able to have love, forgiveness, and compassion for those people, if you are able to not take anything that they say in an unpleasant way, harmfully or hurtfully, congratulations, you are very much on the way to being enlightened. So the purpose of every relationship is to assist us with being the highest version of our highest self. And we know that prior to coming into this incarnation, our soul knows that there's a good possibility we will meet this soul, this soul, this soul, and this soul. And we will meet those souls as part of a agreement, a soul level agreement, so that they can grow, so that we can grow. What happens with the growth? What actually occurs? Think back to a previous relationship that didn't turn out so well. Could have been an ex, could have been somebody stole from you or caused massive financial challenges for you, okay? And you trusted them, whatever it was. Think back to a very unpleasant one. Think back to when that person entered your life, okay? Most likely, there was a camaraderie, a connection, a trust, something where you felt safe and did not foresee what has now occurred. Your soul and their soul and the relationship between you brought that into fruition in this life on purpose. There are no accidents in the cosmic web of life. Everything is quantumly entangled, including the potentiality of you two meeting in this life. But again, what is the purpose of that? Why? Why? Because we have the opportunity in every lifetime to clear up anything that might inhibit us from being the highest version of our highest self, which is a fully enlightened conscious being. So if you had an unpleasant experience in the past, that is because that's happened before. And it's highly likely that whatever you are the victim of in that relationship, whatever you are on the receiving end of, whether it was poor, unhealthy communication, some form of an abuse, some form of a financial struggle, some form of relationship imbalance, whatever it was, it's highly likely that you were the one causing those series of experiences and events to the other person in a previous time. It's highly likely, although it could have happened for the very first time in this life. Could have, certainly, that's possible. Has to happen for the first time at some point in time, right? So either you're playing tennis, my turn to hurt you, your turn to hurt me, my turn to hurt you, your turn to hurt me. Or somebody hurt you this time around, And you can shove it aside and forget it and move on and say, at least I never have to talk to that person again. But God, when I see a picture of them, it just brings up so much anger and hurt and pain, and I close my heart. You can have that. But what does that do? Next lifetime, there they are again, which is this lifetime in most cases. And now you're playing tennis again. One of you got hurt more than the other, probably. Or maybe both of you were hurt and nobody learned a lesson. You did not know about Tao healing. You did not know about forgiveness practice. You did not know what you know today. And therefore, you have that unpleasant experience and you eventually shove it away and say, I'm never going to have that again. And a good half of you watching today say, oh my God, I had that same thing happen again with another relationship. You will see often patterns in relationships where there's an abuse and then you finally get out of it and then you're abused again. Why? All of these enter your vibration because the relationship soul is trying to teach you that it's time to clear this up, this life. And if you ignore it and do nothing about it, you're just going to get more of what you don't want because you didn't acknowledge the necessary lessons that were to be learned. Every soul is here to grow. And when you are in partnership at work, as a boss to employee, parents to children, children to parents, brothers, sisters, look at all your relationships. Most of us have 10 important relationships. And it's pretty easy to see the one or two or three that are difficult. And if all of them are difficult, guess what? That's you. It's not them. Quit pointing the finger outside. And we want to solve those. How can we solve those? We've discerned what is a relationship soul. I've just explained why it's important to understand the relationship soul and its purpose in our lives. Now we want to talk about how can we solve this? How can we solve this? We solve it by applying the Tao healing techniques. Step number 1, acknowledge that relationship soul was or is trying to serve you. Now, this wisdom can apply whether it's a past or a current relationship. It's irrelevant. And it can apply in all types of relationships. In other words, this wisdom applies to every relationship, even if it's with the person you see at the grocery store stand. The same wisdom applies across the board. Step 1, recognize that every relationship has a soul and those souls are trying to serve you. Step 2, choose a relationship to practice with. Could be a current one, could be a past one. I suggest you choose the most painful one, the one that you have truly not resolved. And even if you say, well, I've resolved all of mine, it's possible. Maybe you have done the work. But for a lot of people, if you cannot be in the room with that person, having a basic conversation with them and not feel threatened, not feel worried that they're going to take advantage of you, you have not released everything. Doesn't mean you have to pick up the phone and call them, okay? I'm not telling you to do something uncomfortable like that. I am saying that we can do all this at the level of soul because that's where the problem is. As a reminder to anyone new listening for the first time, when we do say, offer unpleasant thoughts, words, or actions, that remains on our vibration, that remains on their vibration. That is what's called quantum entanglement. When we offer positive thoughts, words, or actions, that remains on our vibration, that remains on their vibration, again, quantum entanglement. And that entanglement will serve us either way, positively or negatively. So we call forth this soul at the level of soul. Think of them now. Let's do this together. Dear the soul of, say that person's name. I love you. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to finally be awakened to this chance to heal all of the discomfort that I and probably you have experienced in this lifetime, and hopefully all lifetimes. I can tell you, I have not enjoyed our relationship. There are parts of it that were probably okay, but I never want to do that again. And one thing I know is I don't want this in my heart. I don't want this in my vibration. And I certainly don't want to carry this forward into another lifetime and do this all over again. I now recognize that all the time I have been pointing the finger at you, blaming you. You did this wrong. You did that wrong. If you only did this, if you only did that. All the times I have been on the victim's side, I now recognize that it's at least 50% possible that I was the one doing that exact same thing to you in a previous time. If I was rude, abusive, if I took advantage of you, if I treated you like a dog, if I did this, if I talked down to you, if I was derogatory, whatever they did to you, you have to do forgiveness with. If I was ever this way towards you, and take a moment, say those things that are specific to that relationship, then I, from my heart, apologize. I cannot imagine myself ever being that way. I know who I am in this life. I would never do that. But I recognize it's possible. That's what I recognize. It's possible. And if I have ever been that way towards you or anyone in all time, I bow my head to all of you and humbly and sincerely ask forgiveness. And what you have done to me to bring harm in this relationship, it took me a long time to heal from it, to move through and pass it, to start again. It was very unpleasant. It's very hard for me to forgive you. Very, very hard. I don't know if I can. But I also know that if you had ever experienced what I experienced, then certainly I deserved all of this. I can't imagine that I've ever harmed you in this way, but if I did, please forgive me. And although it's not okay what you did, and I'm not condoning what you have done in this relationship, I do love myself, love my heart, love my frequency, vibration, my future so much that I now extend to you my full and complete unconditional forgiveness. I do not want to play tennis in the future. I do not want to hurt you the way you hurt me, and then you hurt me the way I hurt you. I am now awake and aware. It's not okay what you did, but I truly ask heaven to assist me in fully and completely releasing this pain with you. I forgive you fully and completely so that we never have to do this again. And if I harmed you first, then please, my head is on the ground asking forgiveness. Now, this is how you can unwind a past relationship, a current relationship. This form of communication, soul communication, is one of the single most effective ways to heal a relationship. When you practice a soul communication like that, again, you call their soul, you offer forgiveness, you ask forgiveness. There's a third forgiveness, self-forgiveness. Many of us, we beat ourselves up. We literally hold ourselves accountable for being so stupid, for allowing myself into such a horrible situation, right? And then we hold on to that and continue to beat ourselves up. Forgive yourself. Actually, your soul and their soul and the relationship soul caused that relationship on purpose. You need to say, my God, I'm such a smart soul. I'm so intelligent for bringing that to myself, because if I did not, I would not have the opportunity today to be significantly more awake and significantly more aware than I've ever been. I would not have the opportunity today to finally completely let it go and be washed free of it. I'll remind you of the visual. I encourage you to put this visual in your head whenever you have a difficult relationship with anybody. Here's your visual. Ready? Walk up to the prison cell. You can hear the big loud doors, right? Now, walk inside that prison cell. Now, that's you inside the prison cell. Look outside. That person over there walking by with their new partner, not knowing that you're complaining in your heart, in your head, not knowing of your pain and suffering, they're outside. And here's you holding the bars going, why did you do that to me? You crushed me. You hurt me. You abused me. You did this to me. You did that to me. That's your visual. How do you like it? How's it feel? That's what you are choosing consciously, purposely to do when you hold any suffering of any relationship in. You are saying, you outside of this cage have control over my future, my thoughts, my emotions, my heart. I'm giving you that power, and I'm going to close the door on myself and continue to stay in this pain-filled space. That's the choice you're making. Or you can grab that special key, the forgiveness key, the conscious awakened key, and walk outside your own prison cell and say, I'm truly done with this. And you go through the steps of fully letting go. It will take more than one time if it's a long-standing pain-filled relationship. You may have to do it every day for a year, but there will be a point when you just have zero animosity and zero harm or hurt for that person. And that is when you will be free and clear for all lifetimes with that person, as well as any other potential future relationships. You will not attract those kinds of conditions to you anymore, because you will have cleared that negative vibration from your soul. The title of this podcast is You Are a Soul Having a Relationship with Another Soul. Apply this wisdom. If you want to know the full program, because there's so much more, this is just one little snippet of a full program I have on healing your soul and healing your relationships. Then click on the the links that I put in the chats, okay? This course comes with a full month in my membership program, which comes with a 30-minute consultation with me. That alone is worth several $100s. My course is worth $125. And you get my Soulmate Karma ebook, all just for signing up for the course. You get like almost $300 worth of value for half of that. So I highly recommend you take advantage of it. And if it's not for you because you're doing great, then think of somebody you know. Almost all of us have a friend, a partner, brother, sister, somebody we know that's really struggling. Can you think of a better gift, or at least send them that link? This is a way in which everybody can win this unconditional service. And if you find that it's something that resonates with you, you can become an affiliate. Start earning 20% of whatever you recommend. Okay? So I want to thank you all for coming. This is The Healing Source. My name is Paul Fletcher. I look forward to seeing you next week when we delve further into relationships. Until then, have an awesome day, everyone. Bye-bye.